But with that said, we're going to move on to the main event of this evening. And so we had talked about it just like back in 2018 of November of 2018. UFC and One Championship had a legendary trade where they swapped Demetrius Johnson
Mm-hmm.
and Ben Askren across for each other. Something you haven't even really seen since. Well, we're gonna do that kind of transfer window, but between AEW and WWE. We got 5 stars, 5 units, if you will, going across. So what I mean by a unit could be that could be a superstar, that could be a tag team. I'm even allowing factions in this. So whatever you send across the way, just make sure it's equal either way. And so we're gonna kick off with WWE going to AEW. Jay, how you feeling up for first to bat?
All right. The first, the first team I'm actually to spoil it. First tag team I'm sending across are the Street Profits,
Okay.
and here's the reason why. You've got Montez Ford, who is a breakout star in the making. You've seen what AEW has done for Swerve Strickland. He's had a world title run. I think Angelo Dawkins has the potential of being another type of single star world championship potential, possibly. I mean, he's shown good improvement for the last 2 to 3 years already. But I think seeing what the Street Profits can do, especially against the likes of like the Hurt Syndicate, especially like against the Demand, Brodito, all these other good teams. I mean, I would love and I would be intrigued to see exactly what they could do. If Dawkins were to go off into a single run, now you've got Ring of Honor. He could play in that sandbox for a while. Ford can do his own thing in AEW proper. There's just a lot of different matchups that you could see across the board that I would love to see with those two individuals, either as a team or individually. So I would send the Street Profits, and that's going to be my number one.
Okay. What's your remaining 5?
Okay, so another one I would like to see, Bailey. I think there's a
Okay.
lot that can be done with her as well too. She's pretty much done everything in WWE, So sending her across the way to AEW, seeing the run that Mercedes Moné has been on, and that's the cool thing is like when you go to AEW, you can actually do some other independents as well too. So you got Bailey that can go to Ring of Honor. She can go do AEW. You could send her across to Japan, and she can have some bangers out there, So the sky's the limit in terms of what the potential could be for a run with Bailey. So I would love to see that. Shoot, you can have her against Athena. Run that. You know what I mean? That would be crazy, right? The third person I would send, and this will almost happen, Randy Orton. And see what Randy Orton could do against some of the younger talent on the roster. We talked about a Darby Allin against a Randy Orton. And unleashing Randy Orton to be a more sinister version of Randy Orton. Because I mean, you got some handcuffs when you're in the WWE. Of course, you got some things that you can't do. But I mean, if you got Hangman setting someone's house on fire and Randy Orton already set somebody's shack on fire, imagine what this dude unhinged could do. He could really do some work and be really, really sinister and creative. So I would send him across. I'm gonna send this as a caveat. I know Kevin Owens is hurt, but I would love to see him over in AEW healthy. I mean, he's already good friends with the Bucks, and the stories that can be told between them and the Elite and everything else that he's already got the established relationship with Claudio. That would be amazing to see, but he's on the shelf. He's hurt, so that's probably not going to be welcome type of thing. And my fifth one, oh my gosh, I had a tie. I pulled my Nate Milton card, so it's a tie. So initially I was like, you know what, company man Miz, let's see what you can really do. I would love to see and be intrigued what a Miz can do because he brings the name brand of like what the WWE is. He's always going on these different shows. He's always, to going to these different events and hyping up the WWE. Let's see what he could do with what he could do with a AEW. They've got the machine with the Time Warner, and there's a lot of reach that can be done across those platforms. So that would be pretty interesting from a business aspect. In ring, you know, but he does have some credibility because before WWE, he was wrestling independent. So giving him some fresh matchups would be great. But the tiebreaker was a Seth Rollins. Telling the story because you've done everything you could with the Roman Reigns story. Let's go on the other side and play in that sandbox with John Moxley. You've got some history. You can entertain that history, So I think those are the 5 entities I would send across to AEW from WWE.
Okay, I like your list. I'm liking the Street Profits on there. Seeing bigger, better for them. We can kick off with a better theme song for Bailey off rip, and it's already gonna be a better run.
100%.
So we can do. I can't get jiggy to that song. Oh. Randy, you giving me that in the Ruthless Aggression era, Randy, and I like that. I suffer from. You remember that promo? He was like, I suffer. I can't think of the illness he was suffering from. He was like, when I just happen to snap and I see red. I suffer from. It was on the lead up to WrestleMania 25. It was like it had a whole acronym and everything. It was like DTR. Like I suffer from this. So
I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
you give me that good, Randy. I like that. And it would be nice to see Tyler Black out there doing something different besides in WWE. So I like your list, man. I really do. Ray, who you transferring across, man?
All right. So my list is more. I think Jay has a couple of guys who are big main eventers already, and so my list is more of kind of like you have a couple people who are established already, but you also have some people who I feel are like blue chippers who either haven't gotten their just due just yet, or they're working their way up. So I'll go to my list. So first off, I'm going to start with a tag team as well. So I have, let me see. Here we go. I have the New Day. I know they just recently, they both just recently signed new contracts, but I think they're in a similar place as the Street Profits. They've done all you can do. They've had the longest reign. They had a whole bunch of reigns. I think the thing with Big E hasn't worked out. It's only so much you can do when the person who you have the most heat for isn't on the program from week to week. So, so I think you could really breathe a lot of fresh air into them if they go over to AEW. I'm gonna try to make this quick because we're coming up on our time limit draw, fellas. Next one, and I'm sure Brother Nate is going to be able to move along with this particular pick. I'm choosing his Caramel Queen, Nia Jax. And I don't think you can confuse. I think you do need some more powerhouses over there in AEW, and it'll be hard to confuse Nia with Nyla, with Nyla Rose, because Nyla Rose has gone off to the upside down world where Dr. Britt Baker is, so we don't know where she is. So it'll be hard to confuse those two. But I think Nia Jax, we've seen the improvement that she's had throughout her most recent run with WWE, and I think she can only get better. Next is going to be a brother who I feel, and I'm pretty sure you guys agree with me as well, hasn't gotten his just due with him being called up. He's kind of been stranded with an aforementioned A-lister, and I'm going to go with Carmelo Hayes. Let's ship that brother over. Again, unleashing the full potential that brother. Can you imagine the matches that brother can have with the likes of a Ricochet or a Jungle Jungle Boy Jack Perry or him being in a tag team against the Young Bucks. I would love to see what that brother can do. Hey, maybe even taking Cedric's spot in the Hurt business or the Hurt Syndicate. You never know. All right. Then I'm sending another established woman over to AEW. Can possibly be the third Japanese women's world champion alongside Hikaru Shida and Riho. And I'm talking about the Empress of Tomorrow, Asuka. I believe she still hasn't gotten her just due, even though she has done pretty much all you can do in WWE. She still hasn't gotten her just due. I think she's doing great work right now. I think AEW pushes Japanese women pretty well, and I think she can let loose on AEW as well. And then my last pick for a WWE talent going over to AEW. We had this brother. He's been all the talk of the town at NXT. Let's talk about it. We had Trick and A for a little while. Maybe we can get A.E. Willie. Ooh, that don't sound right.
Should have workshopped that one a little bit more, bro.
I know. That sounds just as bad as Ricky Superdome.
Man.
I'm gonna go with Trick Williams. And again, who knows if Carmelo and Trick go over to AEW? Maybe Trick Mello gang get back together, go after those tag titles. That'll be an interesting spot to see. And I would love to see Trick Williams go after in the world title picture, possibly Trick Williams versus Swerve Strickland. That would be a match that I'd be interested in seeing. Trick Williams versus a Will Ospreay. That'll be a match that I'm interested in seeing. Yeah, those are my 5.
Okay. So I'm a big fan. I like you taking Trick and Mello back over there as well. I like those picks. I don't know how Nate gonna feel about her being off of WWE television on the TNT and TBS, but we gonna see how you feel about Nia Jax, because I feel like she has kind of ran her gambit in WWE at this point. So she needs some refreshing. And like I talked about earlier, I need to see my girl Asuka winning. And so if she don't do it over there, like you said, they treat them right. I'd love to see them treat her right and give her a reestablishing as a dominant force in the world championship. So I like your picks. For me, I'm gonna do mine. I'm gonna mirror my picks in the same way of the 05. Nope. Am I right? In the year? Yeah, 05 year of the draft. And so we're gonna kick off, starting everything off with my initial tag team. And you might be like, they're not a tag team right now. In due time, because the Judgment Day has to end. And so because of that, Finn Balor and AJ Styles gonna form a tag team, because that looks a lot better to me than Dragon Lee. So we have no association together, but cool. We just happen to work together as a team decently. But no, we're gonna do Finn Balor and AJ Styles being transferred over there, because I want to have what happened in that match with Cena? The undisputed leader of the Bullet Club. Cool. It's time to have the fatal 4-way match to determine that.
Called him a boss.
It's time to have the match to determine who is Big Boss. Balor, Prince Devitt under the initial title. King Devitt, whatever you want to upgrade him to now, but Prince Devitt. You're going to have walking in there AJ Styles. You're going to have there Kenny Omega, and you're going to have there Jay White. Fatal 4-way that must happen.
Okay.
That is the Bullet Club Big Boss match that I need to see. I don't care about Evil. We're not bringing Evil over here.
Jeff Jarrett.
Gone with that. Good. You need to leave. For real. You need to leave. Get that on up out of here. I don't know why you said double J anything up in here. Dumb.
Hey, if there's a pot to be stirred, I got the spoon. You know what I mean?
But with that, I'm gonna go. I want them to both have these matches with. I want to see a Kenny AJ match. I want to see a Finn Balor Okada match again because they wrestled in New Japan years ago. That was one of the matches that got me in New Japan. I want to see that again. I want to see Pac against these people. I want to see these people, Pac and AJ Styles. Come on, man! Like that sounds so much fun to me. Like that's what I want. Like I need those type of matches. So send them on over there. I want to then grow some talent, and I think some people have kind of stagnated. So I want to send Pete Dunne on over there. Get him out of a mask because he's a luchador. Let's go ahead, send him on over to AEW. But and you might think, oh, you're so disrespectful, Gerard. Nah, he's going to ROH, and he's gonna work his way up the ROH card to getting that world title.
I could see him as a pure champion.
Starting off with a pure championship, working his way up there, and having these compelling, great showcases to help not only build ROH, but also keep his name on AEW television. So we like all that. I think I see Xavier Woods and a Kofi Kingston, the New Day, coming on over here. But I see it in a different way of not a tag team, but like we said, you couldn't get the crown and you ain't never been no singles champion. In the same way that MVP wrestles but manages, Kofi, I think, is going to start to pull back and support his brother in his quest of him bouncing back and forth between AEW and ROH. I think Xavier gets that ROH title a lot faster and sooner than a Pete Dunne. I think he jumps to that and he's dueling back and forth between that and AEW to work his way up to maybe a unified belt, maybe even in maybe 4 years towards the tail end of the deal. He gets that world title ring with the AEW belt. But I think it's time to send them over there to get a different look and just a different feel. I gotta bring somebody over here to shift and change the game for the women. And though I cannot stand her when she gets a world title around her waist, Charlotte Flair can actually do a lot of good to help grow the women's division and the women's talent, not only in ROH. And I'm not saying send her to ROH, but she's going to be working with women all across the board, backstage and on camera, to help grow those divisions. You put a Charlotte Flair and a Monet in there to sharpen both sides of the division, your women's division is going to be greater than ever. So, and Charlotte Flair can then get a different look. And you know when she gets that AEW Women's World Championship, the heat, as they love to say, it's going to be through the roof. So let her go ahead and do that. And also let Charlotte start off with that TBS title. Because her father, I believe, has had a TV title reign before. So, once again, if we follow in Father's footsteps, Father used to be on Turner Broadcast Networks. It's time for you to jump onto them as well. So, join up. And then my last pick, I need a tag team that's going to really light that scene on fire and stay a tag team in the scene. And that's my War Raiders, because I ain't really seen them do nothing besides turkey legs, have some mediocre title reigns, and not do much of nothing since NXT. So I need them to go light that world on fire as War Machine again in AEW. No more raiding. It's time to become a machine. Those are my 5 units going from WWE to AEW. So, but now we're going to switch over to folks from AEW going to WWE. Ray, you feel good to go up to bat with this, or do we need to let Jay run the same order again?
I could go up to bat for this one. I think I got all my 5. It's interesting that you mentioned the War Raiders, because then they'll be returning back. If you have them going back to ROH, then it's kind of like they'll be returning back home, so to say. But I mean, they have been, like, both of them in various stages of their WWE career have been hurt and possibly on the brink of not even wrestling anymore. So I'm glad to see that they're still around. But yeah, I would love to see them kind of freshen up their act a little bit as well. But going on to my 5 who are transferring from AEW to WWE, since I started my prior list with a tag team, I'm going to start this one with a tag team, and we're going to go with Jet Speed. Jet Speed, I think you have them possibly come up through NXT and then be like a house of fire going into the WWE main roster. I think if you split these guys apart, I think that they can make names for themselves as well. I think the only reason I'm sending them to NXT is because of Kevin Knight. I think while he is talented, I think that he still has some things to work on. I think they both have some things to work on as far as not only a team, but as far as keeping things crisp. We kind of saw when they had a tag match with the Hurt Syndicate, how things kind of fell apart a little bit between them and with their communication with Shelton Benjamin. So I think that they can go into NXT for maybe about 6 to 8 months or so, kind of hone in. They have the pure talent. It's just that they got to hone in those things with the communication and also with getting that style across on WWE television. And then I think you can boost them up to the main roster. I would love to see them as a part of the SmackDown tag division. I mean, Wyatt 6 notwithstanding, but I would love to see those guys against was it Fraxium. I would love to see those guys against a DIY, I should say. I would love to see those guys. I'm about to call them DEI. I don't think
Is that a new tag team? These girls don't belong here.
I know. TKO be like, "Hey, we got rid of that. We got rid of that initiative a long time ago."
We don't see color over here.
I know. I can see Jet Speed against the Street Profits. So I think they could. I think SmackDown, out of the both brands, I think SmackDown does have the freshest tag division. I mean, if you want to send them over to Raw to kind of jolt that tag division up a little bit, you could. But yeah, I would love to see them go over to SmackDown from NXT. So Jet Speed. I mentioned ladies who can swap over. So when I mentioned Nia Jax being a powerhouse, I think it's only right that you send over a powerhouse who isn't always mean mugging like a Nia Jax, even though I think Nate might like his women mean, but she could be mean. This woman who's coming over to WWE, she could be mean, but she could smile anyway. I'm talking about Willow Nightingale, bringing over Willow Nightingale again. Maybe have her start out for maybe have like a cup of coffee in NXT, like a Stephanie Vaquero, like a Julia, because again, she has everything that she needs and she has the charisma as well. I think she can sell a bunch of merchandise as well. So as a baby face. We don't really have a lot of like white meat baby faces in WWE's women's division right now. You have girls other than Io. I think Io is the only one who's like straight up like nice and smiley all the time. Like you do see layers from her a bit, but everyone else is kind of like brooding and kind of like an anti-hero, like a Rhea Ripley. Like you see her smile every now and then, but she's more like brooding and bruising and beating people down. Like Tiffany Stratton, she's kind of a baby face every now and then, but then she talk about your marriages and then have her wanting to break her face. And so and then a Jade Cargill, like she again, she's like not an anti-hero, but it's like she's like this powerhouse, and she's like a bad bee. I don't know if I can say that. I know she said it plenty of times. So, but I think you can bring over Willow as like that that girl who, when all odds are against her, she's going to keep trying her best, and she's not going to be brought down by other people, and she's going to keep smiling anyway. So and she's going to have the crowd behind her every step of the way. So they bring over Willow. All right, and then let me go ahead and check out my list. I'll go over to a second woman that I'm bringing over, and I believe Jay, you mentioned uh bringing Bailey over and having a possible match with a certain somebody in AEW. Well, I'm a flip Uno reverse card, keep Bailey in WWE, and bring over this woman with her minion. I'm talking about bring over her head minion in charge. I'm talking about Athena, the minion overlord, alongside with Billy Starks. So, or they might call her Billy Saints. Who knows? I guess something against Starks. I don't know what it is. But I could see Athena going over and finally, like, it's kind of like she's making a return, but we're not talking about Ember Moon. We ain't talking about no doggone werewolf coming back with her eyes changed. We talking about the minion overlord coming and ruling over WWE. I think like having her in that women's division and kind of like reintroducing her with the fans and kind of making her seem as a big deal would be tremendous. So I could see Athena alongside Billy Starks going over, and you can have them as a tag team. You can have Billy Starks turning her back and then turning her back on Athena and then trying to progress up the ladder. So many possibilities that you can have with those two. All right. Two more. Let me see. Where do I have my list? Next man up. I'm going to go with a brother who recently became a Death Rider, but he gonna be riding off in the sunset. I'm talking about Red Death, Daniel Garcia, Buffalo Stabler. I know that he had an opportunity in NXT before, but I think you could really like get the machine behind him. I think he's cooled off a lot since he won the TNT championship over Adam Cole. So I think in a similar vein as Carmelo, when I mentioned earlier, is like you can reintroduce him to a new fan base and you can kind of get the machine behind them and boost them up in that aspect as well. So Daniel Garcia. And then my last pick, just like I mentioned, a blue chipper in Trick Williams going over to AEW, I'm going to mention another blue chipper who recently became the New Japan or IWGP heavyweight champion of the world. I'm talking about the Alpha Konosuke Takeshita coming over and making a name right away. I ain't gonna be like Triple H or Vince McMahon and be like, well, let's just go ahead and put him with a with another Japanese dude. How about Shinsuke Nakamura? Let's make a tag team. I ain't doing that. I'm thrusting him right into like a title picture. Maybe have the lights go out and then him, once the lights come back on, he's standing across the way from, let's say, a Cody Rhodes. And it just him just staring daggers into him. And so I think you could really push that, especially after the year that he's been having. I'm definitely I would definitely love to see how they can make that man into even a even more bigger deal within the WWE. So those are my 5 picks transferring from AEW to WWE.
Okay. I like that. Especially, I like the jet speed edition for a young tag team on SmackDown, you sending my wifey over to WWE, so I ain't gonna matter. Oh my God. Willow Nightingale going over there. You got me. I'm sorry. DG, yeah, he's cooled off since resigning. Because when he resigned, he was at a hot fever pitch. And yeah, after that TNT title run, it's kind of just been downhill. I don't really know where he's going. So yeah, I think a change in NXT and just going over to a whole new brand could just freshen him up. And I like your Athena and your Takeshita takes as well, man. So no, we rocking with that. Jay, who are you sending from AEW to WWE?
It's a controversial pick here. I think that this person over here, this masked individual, has been a staple for AEW, and that's Excalibur. I'm totally kidding. Not doing
it. I didn't even think about
it. I really thought about it because he's a wrestling genius, and I would love to hear him in a WWE like a production type of environment and see what he could do, what he would be able to get away with, and what he really wouldn't be able to. But that's my sleeper ones. I was like, nah, I'm not going to do that. But my first one, Hikaru Shida. I think that she would be. I mean, introducing her along with the Kabuki Warriors and
there you go.
There's all kinds of different stories that can be told with that. I mean, she's already won AEW Gold, and bringing her over to as a former champion over to the AEW side, not AEW, the NXT side, and just having her have those matches with those ladies, and then going over with to Rhea Ripley, and then going over to SmackDown to tangle up with Tiffy Time. I mean, Julia, there's so many other different matchups that can be done with that. It would be incredible to see what how that women's division would, the different matchups that can be done with that. So that's my first pick. The second one, Kenny Omega. I want to see the matchup between him and Xavier Woods. There's so many different things that can be done with that, just on that level where they can either be a tag team, be frenemies. I mean, we've seen it how many times in WWE with that they've run that truck to death, so seeing that done. Kenny Omega, he was in OVW at one time, and seeing how his career has turned out, and then going into a WWE environment and seeing how he would be, propelled or showcased on their platform. So I had that as one of my guys to go over from AEW. Another one, MJF.
Yeah.
Seeing the machine, very similar to what like a Miz is for WWE. I think that's what MJF is to AEW, and here's why. He's doing movies now. He can putting the machine behind him with inside of the WWE only broadens his superstardom, so he can become one of the other wrestlers that become a Hollywood player. So I think that's what his trajectory is anyway. He's super talented.
Some say he's the less famous Miz.
That's hilarious. And I think that the matchups that can come from that, because he's the best heel in professional wrestling right now. There's no, I think, in my opinion, fight me up. Another one I would bring over along with Kenny Omega would be the Young Bucks. There's so many different stories that can be told with that too. So
that's 3 VPs right there.
Allegedly. I think those guys, they've been TV ready since AEW started, and to see them on a WWE production or a broadcast, I think, I mean, there's so many stories that can be told with that and those guys as well too. So that's that's 4. Fifth one, I'm gonna go with Kyle Fletcher.
Okay.
He's a young gun. I mean, I really think that, again, I said before, 18 months from now, he's going to be a world champion. If they were to take him over to an NXT, Now you could take him and transfer him over into a TNA as well too. So there's so many different matchups that can be made with him. And as being as young as he is, getting all that experience that he already has. I mean, he's already wrestled in England. He's already wrestled in New Japan. The sky's the limit for that guy, you know? And I think those 5 individuals from AEW could infiltrate WWE and bolster up a roster that's already stacked anyway. So
Nice.
I thought about the Bucks, and I thought maybe that would be a really good change for them. But you doing it for me, so hey, we getting them a switch up, and yes, having them and a Cody Rhodes united together.
Yeah.
Gunshot motion he always loves to do. I'm not mad at it. I'm not him having his protege back in his sphere and MJF. I'm not mad at that. So for the Codyverse, that improves it. I mean, to have Omega over there. Come on now. Now we just having the elite. Just what are we doing here? I'm loving what we doing. And then Kyle Fletcher, yeah, he is the future that you are growing, and to have him go over to WWE, it's gonna suck because it's damn near like you did all the prep work. Here's the main chef. I just need you to blow on it, and then now it's a fully cooked meal.
Mm-hmm.
So they gonna make him a full main eventer and a star easily over at WWE. I like that. I like your list.
Yeah.
Hikaru Shida, giving her the chance to mix it up with some different folks. Come on, man. How could you not be mad at something like that? Well, for me, I'm sending over from AEW to WWE, and I had to switch up one of mine because I didn't want to be a repeater. So we're gonna start from the one I switched up. I was initially gonna say Athena. I wanted Athena to come over to SmackDown day one. Hey, how you doing, Tiff? Give me that belt, Tiff. Day one. Because that's the way she needs to be treated as a main eventer, as a superstar, as somebody who comes in already at the world title level, winning that belt. There's deeper stories that can be told. But for her to come and do something that she wasn't really doing when she was in WWE, I would love to see Athena do that. Now, since you already said Athena, I picked somebody else because I was like, I wanna grow something. So I'm about to be showing a lot of love to NXT. And so with that being said, Queen Aminata, step up to the plate, girl. Put your crown on your head. It's time that we're going to grow you up in NXT. We're going to let you do the North American thing. We're going to let you also get that NXT world title. We're going to put you on that Ricky Starks plan, that Superdome plan, if you will. So we're going to put you on that, get you cooking, get you rolling, and then when it's time for the main roster, we're going to send you up. But we need some exciting tag teams to keep our show on Tuesday nights going. And so, they're going over to NXT. Jungle Express, yada AEW. You're going to WWE. And I think I send them to NXT and not a SmackDown or Raw initially, being former tag team champions, because when we're bringing them over to WWE, we need a different character. We cannot do Jungle Express, in my humble opinion, because of the sheer fact that it's just too AEW. And unless we're trying to do the Cody thing, which that's one thing with Cody, but Cody was already over here.
Right.
Let's create a new character. Let's get you established, because both you and Luchasaurus, the story could be us walking into NXT and Luchasaurus goes, I'm back. I am tough enough. And I'm back. I'm tired of being a dinosaur. I'm here to get mine with my homie. Sean and Diesel. But you got to work your way there to build that up between the two of them on NXT. They also could use a buddy tag team over there to put some exciting matches on for a little bit to easily then just promote it. I want them, because I think if we would have sent the Machine Guns to NXT first and then SmackDown, I don't know why, but I think it would have been better for them overall, just crowd engagement wise. And so that's why I'm going to send Private Party and the NXT to kind of get some crowd familiarity. And we're going to send them up to SmackDown to help that tag division. So Private Party going down to NXT as well. But I'm giving a lot of love to NXT. That's why I'm gonna send the Death Riders. But not all. Only Mox, Claudio, Pac. All three of them are going to WWE.
Mox
Because I already got
Claudio.
my Impact.
Oh, okay.
I already got my AJ Pac match. We already had that happen. Just like in 05, that Vengeance pay-per-view that happened, we had 2 world title matches on it back then when they didn't have that.
Oh, yeah.
You had Batista defending his belt in that Hell in a Cell, and you had John in a triple threat with Jericho and Christian. So in that same way, on that same pay-per-view, that's gonna be that 4-way for that big boss match. Devitt's gonna become King Devitt in that match. From Prince to a King, because he's taking the King crown from King Switch, because King Switch will be switching brands and going from AEW to Raw, where he should have been in the first place. Because when the whole rumors of, WrestleMania 39, he gonna pop up after the Raw after WrestleMania. I literally bought a ticket to the Staples Center just so I could see that man debut. And what did I get? One of the most trash ass Raw after WrestleMania episodes I've ever seen in my life for my first WrestleMania weekend. So yeah, I'd rather see him go over there and mix it up with the U.S. title, work his way up just like he did in New Japan, work his way up to that World Heavyweight Championship because I think he'd look good with that. With King Switch, I can see him with his drip doing this belt. So I like this belt a lot more than the WWE belt anyway. So I'm always gonna push people to win that belt. So I'm going. My last pick is gonna be Jay White coming from AEW on over to WWE. So Jungle Express, Queen Aminata, Private Party, Jay White, Death Riders. That's my 5 units. That's my transfer. Yeah.
That's pretty dope, man. But the matchup you didn't say that I'm really looking forward to would be Jack Perry versus CM Punk. We gotta see not the closed circuit version of it. We want to see in HD. I want to see that match. Book that.
If you could book a 6-man tag,
Real glad. Cry me a river.
Cry me a river. I love it. We could get a 6-man tag. Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre, and Jack Perry. The Haters United against Phillip Brooks and whoever he could have. I don't know who would be on his team for that. Cody, maybe, whoever you want to throw on that team, but I would love to see that. That'd be a funny little match to have. So, shouts out to one Jack Perry, Jungle Jack. Go ahead and do your thing. But with that, we're going to end the show this week. We are not going to do our big 3 of the month, but how we're going to do this is this time I had it labeled the trios of the month. You know, because 3. Well, how about instead of the trios of the month next month, we're going to do the 6-man tag belt of the month, or the 6-man division of the month. Because what we're going to do next month is we're going to have 2 picks for good, 2 picks for the loser, and we're going to have 2 picks for the you alright. So it's going to be the 6-man.
Double up.
See what I'm doing there? Pick it up what I'm putting that. Yeah, we doubling it up. So it said the trios is the 6-man.
I see the white vision. I see the vision.